In the next few minutes, I'm going to show you how to build a financial foundation for your life that can't be taken down. If you stay until the end, I'm going to share with you big secret number 2. A foundation is not something that will diminish or disappear without your permission. Yes, you can sabotage yourself. Who would erode or weaken their own foundation? That only happens when you don't understand what you're about to learn. Who doesn't or wouldn't prioritize a solid foundation? A financial foundation is something that will not crack or fall or be undermined by external forces, including markets, geopolitical events, courts, or governments. In the current environment, you can't afford to not have a solid financial foundation. In retrospect, I am just amazed that I made the mistakes of trading my foundation for less many years ago, and even multiple times. As a teenager, I'd built a foundation and surrendered it all unwisely to a friend's crisis for cash before I thought or knew better. Was anyone surrounding me at that point in time that knew the difference between the millionaire mindset and the poverty principles? Of course not. I should have asked my grandfather for his counsel. It was an honorable reaction to a friend's desperate need. However, I should have committed to a second income to support that need, but not sacrifice my foundation built over 6 to 7 years and lost in an afternoon. I see many as beneficiaries of their family trust remind me of my past by dismantling foundations of their inheritance into cash without the ability to rebuild it and undervaluing their new wealth. They just really don't understand. Then I discovered how to construct a financial foundation that won't fall or list by the millionaire mindset. Some fund their future in sand or cash that won't hold up to storms, but will hold up a little water and spend nicely. Others fund their assets with pebbles that will easily skip, crack, and convert to spending. Your foundation should be removed 1 to several layers from spending and loss. If not, these 2 primary elements resist building a foundation of wealth. A 401k or IRA is not having a financial foundation in rock, but it's like building a house on sand next to the ocean where the waves will constantly betray and undermine its integrity and tear it down. Almost everyone gets a 401k when they get a job. You hope it won't sink, but the waves come in on a regular cycle, just like the cycles of retraction hit the financial markets. Here's the first thing many don't know I'm going to tell you today. 1, 401ks are designed to become IRAs at retirement. 2, IRAs are designed to decline to 0 at the end of life. And 3, 401ks and IRAs have limits to the annual contributions for your foundation. If that's your plan, you should consider expanding your expectations. Once a routine market retraction begins, it takes about 2 years for your 401k IRA to get to the market bottom and undermine the entire structural foundation of these routine market caverns, and 3 to 5 more years just to break even. The advisors in these markets ask, "What's lost?" "Nothing," they say. "It will return." Yes, it always has in the past, but many don't ask, what if it doesn't? Or what if it takes 20 years to return? It has taken 20 years before to recover. Depending upon your age, that could be very bad or worse, and even if it takes the normal time frame to return. To fool you and take advantage, they advise there are just 2 cycles, the retraction and the return. But this is not true. There are actually at least 3 primary cycles. Let me explain further. I read an article in a national magazine in the last 2 years that described these 2 cycles or seasons as 1/3 retraction and 2/3 growth, and made a big story about how much better the market was because of these 2. It purported the market goes down 33% of the time and the market goes up 67% of the time. This is a half-truth in 2 ways. It omits that the break-even time is 33%, or the first half of the growth season. You lose equity, liquidity, and time 33% to retract. Then you lose equity, liquidity, and time 33% to recover. Well, then it fabricates that 66% of your time in the market is good, not 33%. Going down is 33%, breaking even is 33%, and going up is 33%. You could easily conclude then that 66% of the time in the market is not good for you. Many don't know what I'm about to tell you. You may have heard of Albert Einstein, and you may have thought, what is the eighth wonder of the world according to Einstein? He said compound interest is the eighth wonder of the world. He who understands it earns it. He who doesn't pays it. Compounding is when your money doubles. Remember how they say in the financial market that just hold on, it will come back. But each and every time you lose assets, time, liquidity, and a double. Why? Because of the absolute one thing you must have to double your money. You ask, what's that? It's time. I can actually make the case that you lose two doubles every time the market retracts, not just one. And some have the nerve to say, just hold on, don't get out, it'll come back. This is deceptive at the very least from my point of view, from people that should know the difference. So this is not your fault. You have been hoodwinked for years. The more they say it, the more you think it's true. The answer? Well, that's big secret number 2. Every person should have a solid financial foundation that fulfills 7 expectations or 7 guarantees with an accelerating mix as you age from 20 to 1,000 years that is somewhere between $20 and $20 million. If I had put up half my savings from my teen years in a financial foundation that I would never touch, it could have doubled up to 5 times by now, making it about $320,000. And that's with only half and no additional contributions. The amount you put in your foundation is not the key. What's important is the change in thinking and the commitment to yourself and your family to start the new way of thinking as soon as possible. The millionaire mindset is a choice. I would rather see someone put $10 in their foundation each year as opposed to nothing. Some people say, but I'm making so much money in my market account. Well, I have 2 questions. Over what period of time, over what amount of contributions, and what return on investment? I have never had anyone be able to demonstrate they know the answers to those questions. Most are making about 1 to 2% in the market over time, totally unaware. My next question is if you are making so much money with a market engine, why wouldn't you move 50 to 100% of your growth each month or year into your financial foundation? Why would you increase your amount at risk every month or year? That's the poverty principles. The millionaire mindset is covered by law and contracts that do not allow losses, but also have at least 7 guarantees. These 7 are what I call my expectations of money. Many can't define their expectations of money because they've been deceived into believing in hope for their money, so they are unable to inspect what they expect. You see, my grandfather lived during the 100-year crash of 1929 until about 1987. Are we headed for another crash? He initially moved 50% of his stocks to fully performing assets of the day in the 60s. That built his foundation of wealth initially, and then he moved more every year after that. There are 4 things he didn't do that would have expanded his wealth foundation. I will tell you later how I have added those 4 things to the millionaire mindset. Are you ready for big secret number 3? Well, now's the time to click on the link below